Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Randy Clark and Associates joining us here live today on the podcast and Zoomcast. We are excited that he's back joining us from the Dallas, Texas area to talk more about, his amazing hair replacement for men and for women. And it's a look and a quality that you can afford. And welcome back today. How are you, Randy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Excited. The holidays are upon us. So the hustle, the bustle, always a great thing. Exciting, stressful, but I love this time of year. How are things with you?
Good. Very good.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about your company and what it is you do.
I have a hair replacement business I've owned for 43 years, and we work with men and women with female and male pattern hair loss.
Beautiful. And what types of products and services do you provide?
Top of the head, full caps, skin and lace, custom-made systems for the clients.
Perfect. And what type of quality of hair are we talking about here? Because but not synthetic, all natural, but what is the quality like?
Quality's good. I mean, a lot of people try to sell European or Remy hair, and with the bonding like we do, with the cleaning of the pieces, that hair is a kind of a waste of money. We use a lot of Indian hair. We use a lot of, we still blend with a lot of European hair. The Indian hair is a round hair shaft like ours that works real well. And but there are people who want to have that European hair, but if you're bonding it, the first time they clean the piece, you destroyed that hair. So it's really not worth paying the money for it.
Got it. Well, it's funny because you hear about hair restoration, hair, and what would you say hair means to your clients?
Everything. I mean, it's their identity.
And, the men or women, what are some of the things they're going through a lot of times that you're helping them with?
For ours, most of it's just genetic. I mean, they've lost their hair from hair loss from genetics of their father or their mother. So it's just normal hair loss. And we have some, though, that have alopecia, which and we deal with some of that as well.
Perfect. Well, men and women around the world, I know you have clients that come from all over, but you are located in the Dallas area. And as far as, this business, you've been in it for how many years now? Would you mind taking us back to the day when you started and how it all panned out for us, Randy?
Actually, I started cutting hair in 1976, but I started this business in 1981.
Wow. And it's hair restoration. It's a non-surgical solution. And tell us the process of application and the upkeep and all that, because people might be wondering, if it's not surgical, it's not permanent. So if it's not permanent, is there a lot of upkeep to this? What are the things that we can do, the limitations or no limits on this?
You have two clients. You have the bonded client and you have the daily wear client. The daily wear client is probably like your father.
Yep.
Takes it on and off at night. The bonded client, they wear it for 2, 3 to 4 or 5 weeks. And the reason I say 2, 3, 4 to 5 weeks, it depends on their scalp condition and how long they can wear it. A male, very active, works out 3 or 4 times a week, is going to have to come in every 2 weeks. A client with a little drier scalp can make it 3 to 4 weeks. Some of the women with a very dry scalp can make it up to 5 weeks. But the thing is, it's not about how long you can leave it on. It's how long is it healthy to leave it on? Because it needs to come off. The scalp needs to be cleaned. The piece needs to be rebonded.
And how long do these pieces last for, would you say? No, you mentioned to me in the past that some people buy not just one, but 2. Share a little bit about that.
Well, my average client, male or female, buy anywhere from 4 to 6 pieces per year. That's one every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
That's the average client. The pieces will last, because you got to understand something. When you wear something 24/7, it's like, for example, if you had a really nice silk shirt and you wore it every day, 24 hours a day, and every morning you got up and washed it and dried it, how long would that shirt last? It would not last very long. Hair, under those circumstances, you're sleeping on it, you're wearing it 24/7, you're out in the elements. So it's going to depend on one, how well you take care of it. Okay. I have some clients that take extremely good care of them. They'll get 3 or 4 months out of one, where a client who's a little rougher may only get a month and a half to 2 months out of one.
Well, let me ask, you've been doing this for quite a few years, and how are things change over the course of the year of your quality, your process? Is it been kind of steady with what you do? And how does now the surgery aspect come in? Has that been affecting business because people are transitioning to that more, or there's still a lot more people that are hesitant not to do the surgery and do something that's not as permanent? And, both, I mean, obviously it looks so undetectable, you would never know.
Well, the surgery, that's a client who's probably would never wear hairpiece ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just can't imagine it, so they have to have a transplant. But the sad part about it, like we talked, what happens in a transplant, there's just so much hair they can transplant.
Yeah.
And then you have a larger area in the back that can't be covered. And
Got
then plus, if you don't have a lot of donor hair, by the time they finish, your back's very thin. So it's hard to make it look good as well. I would say probably less than 5% of the people that are bald are really candidates for hair transplants, and they shouldn't even consider it until they're well into their late 40s or early 50s, where they reach the full potential of baldness. That
Mm-hmm.
way they know exactly how much donor hair they're going to need.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, for men, for women, it's a very personal issue. You want to feel comfortable. You want to be, in the presence of someone and a staff of people who you feel comfortable with, showing that you're bald, showing your imperfection. It's a hard thing for us all, but tell me about you and your staff and how you make the clients feel, and give us some examples. Tell us about some of the clients you've had over the years that just keep coming back.
Well, the clients, I mean, once they're comfortable with us, I mean, they're so easy to work with. It's like having friends coming in every day. Uh, Everybody cuts up, has a good time. There's no tension. It's a really happy atmosphere.
Got it. And tell us about some of your long-standing clients, if you don't mind.
Gosh, I've got so many of them. I've got clients that I travel with. I've got clients that I have dinner with several times a month. So they're not just clients, they're friends.
Oh, and that's what I love to hear. And let's go over now, if you don't mind, men, and I know women, obviously, you're helping so many of them as well. And with all these years of experience, have you seen a trend in more women coming in too?
Oh yes, I mean probably since the mid '90s, women have when I started bringing women into the business, and I would say now at this point I'm about 35-40% women.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
And,
with,
and and honestly, everybody told me I wasn't going to be able to do it because I have one salon with individual rooms. Each room has a door to store it off, so it's a private room. Just like if you're in a doctor's office. They said I'll never be able to blend men with women. But the thing about it is the women come in and sit down in the front in the waiting area, and they don't know whether she's there waiting on her husband or she's a client. So it works out really great.
I love it. And you offer free, no obligation hair loss and scalp evaluation, as you say, which is great. So you come in, there's no charge, and you also offer this 100% styling guarantee, right?
Absolutely.
And satisfaction, I should say.
Like I
And
said, I don't want anybody to buy something and not be happy with it.
yeah, well, let me ask you, in all the years, tell me about some of the clients. I know you have some great relationships with them. Share some of the stories with us. It's always good to hear what the clients are saying about you and how you do it.
Actually, I have one client that when he comes in, he screams out "Maestro." Where's the maestro?
Oh,
And I'm trying to think of all the different ones. I mean, my gosh, uh, they call me Scissor Hands. They, yeah,
I love that. Randy Scissorhands. I love it. Awesome.
because I do cut them in very quickly. But we see, like I said, we see 25, 26 people a day, and we'll do as many as 7 to 8 cut-ins in a day at sometimes.
Wow.
And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, the girls will be busy getting them ready, and I'll just walk in and do my thing and get out.
That's great. Oh my goodness. And the security that's backed and obviously this family business that you started 40 something years ago speaks volumes. And it's good to go back to someone who you know. It's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, right? You go to that person, you feel confident with them. And let me just continue down the line with ladies, right? How is it working with ladies? Some ladies wear wigs, some don't. But again, you have to be completely bald, as you said. Sometimes you might need it to shave, right?
Mhm.
And on a woman, is it more noticeable or what type of hair? How do you get the hairline to look so real? Because I'm on your website and I'm looking right here now. How do you get it to look so natural? How does it work? Like, how
Well,
is it individually put into like a net? Like, how do they put the hair in? It's
it's
crazy.
a lace front that's bonded down, and
Wow.
it looks like it's growing out of your scalp. I can take any of the systems and tape it to my hand, and it looks like
Okay.
to the palm of my hand. It looks like it's growing out of my hand.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
Well, it's just like, how long does it take to actually make a piece, especially for women? Is it longer because it's longer hair or it doesn't
no,
have, no.
originally when I started out, it took anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to get a piece out of China. And
Okay.
today it's 3 to 3.5 months. And a lot of that, I think, happened because of the pandemic. It slowed everything.
Yeah.
And I think that they're over in China. And well, actually, we have factories in China, Indonesia, trying to think of the other place, Vietnam,
Oh.
and they'll Cambodia. That's where it's at. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what's happened today is instead of having these factories where people come and work, I think what they do in the factories is they hackle the hair. That means they blend the hair for that particular client, and then they make the base for that particular client. And these workers take this product home and make them in their home, and then bring them back and send them out. And I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's going now. So it's has slowed the process down quite a bit.
Got it. So it takes how many months about, did you say?
3 to 3.5 months.
Okay. All right. And in all your years, has there ever been any clients that have been unhappy? And if so, what were they unhappy about? What would seem to be the biggest complaint, if any?
The only complaint I remember that a really large complaint was I had this one client that he wanted to wear his hairpiece so low on the front that it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard to make it look good. So unless it was made perfectly, which nothing's ever made perfect,
Yes.
it was always a problem. And he had a very ugly demeanor. And one
Oh,
day I walked in and just said, "Hey, you're not happy, are you?" And he says, "No, I'm not." And I said, "Well, here's your money back. Go find some place to be happy because you can't make everyone happy, especially when they want something that's not realistic."
wow. That is really kind. What was his reaction when you did
He
that?
said, he said, "You're firing me," and I said, "Well, I guess you could look at it that way." But he was very ugly in front of the girls too, so that really I couldn't allow that anymore.
Did he show any remorse and gratitude upon leaving? I mean,
No, no, I think he's the type of person that it wouldn't have mattered. He
oh,
uh, he was a very abusive type person and not a very unhappy person.
oh, that's so sad, but wish him well. And that was very kind of you to do. So really satisfaction guaranteed. It's like a money back guaranteed. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And, compared to the other people in the business doing what you do, what would you say sets you apart, sets you above all the rest? Why should people be coming to the Dallas area just to see you, Randy?
I don't know. I mean, I've
I
been
like you because you're a nice, down to earth person. I'll be honest. I've been talking to him I haven't met him in person for weeks now, but he just seems so genuine, true to his craft, and dedicated to his staff and team. So that's why I think you should see him. But you tell me what people are saying
I,
about you.
I've been very lucky to be as successful as I have in this business.
Yeah,
And only thing I could tell anybody is that you have to apply yourself and you have to try and you have to continually work on your skills.
hmm
I had when I first bought this business, I bought it from a gentleman that was not what I would call a great person, and we had this one client that was coming in about twice a week, and back then it was daily wear. So
yeah.
for someone to come in twice a week was unheard of, and bought a piece about every 3 months, which was unheard of. And I may have mentioned this before, but anyway, I had made a piece for him, and it was bad, and I just threw it in the trash can and put his old one on him. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, the piece was just not right. I'm going to remake it for you." So we go out front, and I actually was having write a check for my monthly payment to the owner. He was there waiting, the original owner, and and my client said, "How much do I owe you?" And I said, "You don't owe me anything. When I get the new piece remade, then you can pay me." Well, he wrote me a check that day, and I needed the money so bad I was going to have to use my own credit card to pay the bills that month. This man wrote me a check for the piece I didn't do well, and the next piece, and he said he's been waiting his whole life to see someone honest. And what I learned from that is, if you're fair and honest with people, they will be fair and honest with you.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. You know, you're true to your word. You're a good client. You're a good family man. You got, a lot on your plate, and you clearly are someone who loves what you do. And, let me ask what happens around the holidays. Is it extra busy because everyone wants to get their hair styled? Like, when is your busy time, or is it all the time?
After Halloween, it's crazy until the end of the year.
Wow. All right, it is. Do you ever get to take a break?
Yeah,
You
I'll
do.
take. We'll take like this the way that Christmas fell this year. We'll have a 5 day weekend each weekend, so but it'll be a hard 3 days that we work. So, um,
Oh.
but it'll be nice.
All right. Well, good to hear. And, let's remind everyone all the ways we can contact you. As I mentioned earlier, it's randyclark.com. Do you have a phone number, any other forms of contact that you want to make sure you share today, Randy?
No, we've given the same one. It's 972-239-0291, or you can email me at randy@randyclark.com.
Perfect. And then also, it's always good to see how it's done. You have videos on the website to show you, how it's done, right? Because you're also on Good Morning Texas, and there's
Yeah,
videos and footage there, and there's great testimonials as to the person you are and the work you do. And, let's just asking, for those suffering out there as a woman with like cancer or something, if your hair's falling out, this is not for someone whose hair is going to grow back, right? It's for people that are completely have lost their hair follicles, correct?
mhm.
And
For a client like that, uh, I would recommend just a good wig, because in order to do a custom piece, there's not enough time. Uh,
yeah.
they're going to be through their chemo, and they're going to be well on growing their hair back. So to spend that kind of money for a custom product is really not it's not a good avenue for them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Always lead them to a place where they can get a good wig.
Ah, love it. And for a woman especially, I know maybe some men though too, maybe like the older men who have the gray in their hair, or for a female who wants that highlighted look in the hair, that is it cost more to get the hair like highlighted different colors? Is it more or less expensive for a solid color? How does that part work with the pricing?
The pricing as far as color is no different.
Okay.
It's just length. Uh, Lengthwise is where it makes a difference. So every system that you order comes with a 6 inch length. If you want anything more than 6 inches, that's where your additional costs come in. If you want Remy hair, that means it's fresh cut hair off of somebody
What's
that's
good?
not.
What is Remy hair? I've for hair extensions, I always see advertised Remy hair. Can you share what that is?
Remy hair is fresh hair cut in a salon. It still has a cuticle intact, and so it's 100% virgin hair. And then you have European hair, which is the same. It's the same thing. It's where they've cut fresh hair off a person that's not been colored, not been dyed, cuticle intact. That's the difference in Remy and European, which are both very similar.
Got it. Well, yeah, because I always hear that. And then what's the one where they talk about like with hair extensions? Maybe it works with hair too. It's like it goes the same way because sometimes people put hair pieces or wigs or they have hair pieces go in the opposite way, right? You want them all coming down. What is that called? I'm a little confused.
It's a cuticle on the hair. If you put it in backwards, the hair is going to tangle. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What happens is when they're hackling that hair, and what I mean by hackling is a hackler is a board with nails, like nails on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's how they hackle the hair and make the colors.
Yeah.
And if they don't keep that cuticle in the same direction, and they cross them, then it'll tangle very easily.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
can tell on a hair replacement, you can tell immediately the first time you go to wash it, if that cuticle is going the wrong way, uh, then it's going to tangle real easily.
wow. Yeah, that's what I don't like about some hair extensions as well. Yeah.
But
And
what you can do in a situation like that if you have hair extensions, but yours are already on, so you can't do it. But if I had a system that came in that was had cuticle going the wrong way, I would take that system and, believe it or not, dip it in about warm to hot water with about half a cup of Clorox bleach, and that will clean the cuticle off.
You're kidding.
No.
Didn't know that. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it would be hard for you to do.
Well, I take mine are tape-in extensions, right? So I do take them out. I'm able to put like clear, I put like a clear Redken shades on it. I do that type of stuff. I put treatments on it, but this is it's like 6 months old, even though I move it up every like month and a half, I guess, in a sense. But so it's time for new, but it gets frayed. But to make it softer, I mean, people say put olive oil in it, which I've done. I don't know if that's too greasy. I don't know if you don't want to put that on your scalp, but on the ends of the hair, it makes it nice and shiny. That's my advice.
Well, when you're shampooing your hair, especially women with long hair, if you'll shampoo it twice and then towel dry it really good before you put the conditioner in it. Because if you put the conditioner in soppy wet hair in the shower, all the 80-90% of the conditioner is going to go down the drain. So if you'll just reach up and grab a towel and drop and get all the moisture out of your hair, and then put the conditioner in your hair and comb it through really good, and then rinse it off, then your hair will be much softer.
That's the first time I ever heard of that, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All
Yeah.
right. Very cool. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Wow. Again, we're here talking about his system, randyclark.com. He's been helping so many with his hair restoration in a sense, and it's female, it's males. And again, this is non-permanent. It's a great alternative solution to surgery. And I think a lot of people go to this, especially first, because if you can look at without the surgery and the cost of the surgery, I mean, everyone's different, but go see him, go check him out, and tell him we sent you. Randy, one more time, how do we contact you?
Randy at randyclark.com, 972-239-0291.
Beautiful. Looking forward to next week, and we'll see you then. And happy holidays still to everyone listening. Reach out for the free initial consultation. Can't hurt. And where's your address? What is your address, I should say?
5000 Coram Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75254.
Right, and just Google Randy Clark and Associates. That's what I do. You can find all his information and see all those before and afters, which are great to have. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Randy.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.